The scene shifts to SW Corporation, where we finally meet the big boss, the grandpa of the company. He's getting a report from the black-suited guy about the kidnappers' demands. The guy explains that the kidnappers want SW Corp to cancel their recent contract. If SW Corp doesn't respond within an hour or refuses to comply, they'll kill Miss Yona. The old man asks about the security details, and the black-suited guy says that SW Security will reach the location where Yona is being held within 50 minutes. Back at the shady location, we hear two lackeys chatting. They're curious about their client and why they're making them do this kidnapping. One of them says their boss has already made it clear that it's none of their business and they should just follow orders. Just then, one of the lackeys gets a smack right on the head and crumples to the ground. He turns around, wincing, to see Jin, who's already taken out the other guy. After they're done with the goons, Jin asks his fellow how many he's knocked out. Seokju says the guy he left behind makes it 5 in total. Jin then does a quick mental tally and realizes they've taken down 14 guys, meaning the enemy have got plenty of muscle and resources. Seokju is blown away that Jin managed to take down 9 guys while he struggled with just 5. Finally, Jin asks the blackhead who's pulling the strings. The guy lets out a heavy sigh and says they don't really know. Apparently, these kinds of incidents pop up now and then. This kind of thing also happened when they were in America. He never thought it would happen again so soon after coming back to Korea, and feels like he should have been more on the ball. Jin points out that the real mastermind must be with Yona right now, so he decides to push deeper into the location. Before he moves on, Jin asks Seokju if he'll be okay. Seokju looks puzzled and asks, "Okay? About what?" Jin explains that he was pretty banged up when that van ran over him. The blackhead just shrugs it off, saying our boy should focus on his own injured leg instead. Suddenly, someone starts shouting, asking where all the lookouts went. Another one jokes that maybe everyone went to take a dump. But then another questions why they'd all need to take a dump together. As they walk forward, they finally spot their guys lying unconscious. Before the confused goons can figure out what's happening, Jin delivers a brutal knee smash to one's face. Jin then turns to the thin-mustached goon, grabs his hand, and delivers a savage kick to his leg, followed by a brutal smack to his head. With that, both goons are out cold. Jin decides to split up, but before they part ways, Seokju calls out to him. When our boy turns around, Seokju says that once they're out of this mess, he owes Jin an official apology. Back with the boss, he's hearing the commotion outside and tells his lackeys to check it out. We see our ladies with their faces covered in clothes to keep them from screaming. As Jin walks down, he runs into the lackeys. The guy in the mask points out that he has seen Seokju in pictures, so he can confirm that this brat definitely is not him. He then questions our boy how he came inside. Jin stays silent in response, and he quickly figures out these are the guys behind the kidnapping. Meanwhile, the masked guy orders his lackeys to just get rid of this brat. Just before we see Jin take out the goons, the scene cuts to Seokju, who's hiding in the storeroom, looking around cautiously. There, he finds both ladies tied up, and thankfully, no one else is around, so he figures they must all be out looking for Jin. He sneaks over to the girls, quickly pulls the mask off Yona's face, and she asks if the security team has arrived. Seokju tells her they're on their way. Yona is shocked to hear this and asks how he found them out here. That's when the mafia boss chimes in, and he is thoroughly pleased to hear that the security team won't be arriving anytime soon. The boss then says he must be Seokju from SW Corporation, and he's heard a lot about him. He adds that this brat has been quite the pain, always lurking around Yona and ruining their plans. The mafia boss makes it clear he has no clue how Seokju found their hideout, but he's certain it wasn't smart to come here alone without backup. One of the lackeys suddenly lunges at Seokju, but my guy sidesteps the attack and throws a punch of his own. However, this lackey isn't a pushover. He dodges the punch and quickly retaliates. Seokju realizes this guy is tougher than the goons they took down outside, and he's having a hard time keeping up. But then, Seokju lands a brutal whack and follows up with a devastating punch to the lackey's gut, leaving him doubled over in pain. To finish things off, Seokju delivers a powerful leg swing, and the lackey finally looks like he's down for the count. Just when we think it's over, the thug tries to swing back in retaliation, but Seokju meets him with a devastating knee smash to the back, and the guy quickly starts to crumble. The scar-faced boss notes that he knew Seokju had been trained from a young age, but he didn't realize he was this impressive. Even the two girls are shocked by what they're witnessing. But the mafia boss isn't here for a duel of pride. With those words, the lackey pulls out a blade and starts slashing at Seokju, landing several brutal cuts across his body. The boss grins under his mask, saying he didn't expect this brat to fight empty-handed, which makes dealing with him a lot easier. The lackey charges at Seokju again with the dagger and begins swinging left and right like a madman. Seokju does his best to dodge, but he's still taking deep, painful cuts that leave him struggling to move. The boss pulls out his own dagger and starts juggling it in the air, clearly enjoying himself as he eyes the girls. As soon as Seokju sees this, he immediately knows Daeon is in serious trouble. The poor girl is already terrified, just imagining what's about to happen. Before Seokju can react, the bastard throws his dagger straight at her, aiming to end her life. But at the last second, Yona leaps in front of Daeon, and just as the dagger is about to hit, Seokju jumps in front of both girls, taking the blade straight into his back. The mafia boss scoffs at Seokju, mocking him as a pitiful bastard who's only good for the empty praises people give him. He then orders his lackeys to leave Yona alone and kill the other two. The lackeys quickly agree, and begin to walk forward to carry out the order. Suddenly, everyone hears the door creak open, and all eyes turn to see Jin making a badass entrance after taking down the goons and leaving them sprawled on the ground.